This morning I'm going to fasten these spindles into place, but there's several different ways that they can be placed, so I want to make sure that they look their best. Well, I think that looks pretty good. Being as that they're all different, it makes it kind of hard to, match them up. If they were all perfectly identical, there'd be no problem. Now, I don't want to be getting these mixed up later. That'll help. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking this glue is probably not going to stick too good on this oily surface. Well, I'll tell you what, I'm thinking the same thing. So we'll see what happens here. I don't want to put too much on or it's going to squeeze out and it's going to show. Well, I think that glue is hard enough now that I can lay these on their side and it's not going to come loose. Okay, now I'm going to keep an eye on those to make sure they don't slowly slide out of place on that epoxy. Well, there's one spot here where there's some pretty good squeeze out. And I can get that out of there, but before I start forcing around with a knife or something, I want to make sure I get these pieces all fastened to the top. And that way I'm not going to accidentally break the joint here. Now you'll notice I got a little bit of unevenness going on here. Well, I've got a solution for that. And that solution, take off the 120 and put on the 80. Now I thought I had an old 80 kicking around, but I don't, so I got to put on a new one. I hope I'm not going to gum it up here now. I just want to check and make sure everything's still at right angles. And that one still is. And this one still is. This little piece of wood is parallel on both sides, so I don't need to worry about it being at a slight angle. It'll act as a spacer to go right here. And my thinking is that if I sand these at a mirror image to each other, the bottoms should be flat the same way, if that makes sense. So, here we go. And I'm going to have to be careful not to push too hard and break these off. That's pretty good. Well, I became a little bit over aggressive when I was trying to get the sawdust out from between these spindles. Yep, I broke one off. Another little setback. This clock's going to take forever. Now that is slick. So the plan now is, I just want to temporarily fasten this in. And I'll snug them up by hand later. A couple of the spindles let go here. So I've got to glue these back together because I have to have them holding together when I'm sanding the top flush. I'll sand the whole thing all at once. And that way it'll be completely flat for the top to rest against. So I got to glue that back together before I can continue. And I think that's it for today.